Early voting kicks off today in the key battleground state of Wisconsin, and Democrats are leading off this two-week sprint with a joint appearance by former President Barack Obama and VP contender Tim Walz. Wisconsin is a critical part of that all-important blue wall, which flipped from Trump to Biden in 2020. NBC's Shaquille Brewster joins us now from Milwaukee. Shaq, as early voting gets underway there, what are Wisconsinites saying about the state of the race?
Well, they're telling me that they're excited by it, and you're seeing that at one of Milwaukee's busiest early voting locations. You see the line of people going back there. I'll tell you, there were about 100 people in line before polls opened this morning. And then there's also drive-through voting, where you can go and curbside voting. People come through with their cars, they get a ballot, they complete their ballot inside of their cars. You know, before polls opened today, before they opened this morning, you had more than 600,000 people across the state of Wisconsin requesting that absentee ballot. More than 300,000 of them returned that mail-in ballot. So you're seeing that enthusiasm, people wanting to participate here. And in Wisconsin, you have a couple of different dynamics at play. There's, of course, the presidential contest. These races are always close. You look at the past two presidential elections have come down to within 1 percentage point, but there's a tightening Senate race that can help control or determine control of the U.S. Senate, which party will have power in Congress once we get past November. And then you have key legislative races. The legislative maps that were here in Wisconsin were thrown out. There's new maps now that are less gerrymandered. That will have an impact on what people come out and who they will be selecting. So a lot of excitement here, and you're already seeing that at this early voting location now.
Yeah, look at those lines for early voting. Shaq Brewster, thanks. Keep us posted. And joining us now, Ben Wickler, the chair of Wisconsin's Democratic Party. Ben, good to have you here with us. What or where are you going to be watching today to get a sense of that enthusiasm on the ground for the first day of early voting in your state?
Well, thanks for having me on. We will be watching every corner of the state because we've built a statewide infrastructure. We have 50 offices, including in dozens of counties that Trump won previously. I've been in 18 counties in the last 3 days across the state, and I can tell you the energy on the ground is huge. We've knocked on 1 million doors in Wisconsin since Harris became the nominee. And today, Obama and Walz are going to be in Madison. I'll be at that event later today. So many folks are fired up. And the key thing is the more people vote early, the more our massive get out the vote operation can focus on those who haven't voted in the final stretch. That's an advantage the Republicans don't have. They only have a few dozen staffers. They don't have the kind of torrent of absentee ballots flowing in that we see on the Democratic side. So I'm feeling great this morning.
When you talk about that ground game, all the doors that you've knocked, we know that the Harris campaign has a huge war chest when it comes to money it's raised. We talked earlier this hour, though, about concerns from the Harris campaign that they could lose Wisconsin. We all remember the criticism that Hillary Clinton ignored Wisconsin to her peril. Harris campaign certainly isn't doing that. President Obama, Governor Walz are there today. Harris herself was there yesterday with Liz Cheney. But this race is on a knife edge. Why is it so close, do you think?
Well, this is Wisconsin. It's the land of the nail biter. It's not just beer and cheese here. It's also very close elections. 4 of the last 6 presidential races have come down to less than 1 percentage point. But we consider these fights not within the margin of error, but within the margin of effort. When folks go to wisdems.org and chip in and sign up to volunteer, we put them to work on the ground, talking to their neighbors, talking to people in their communities. Harris has been here 10 times this year. Walz has already been here 6 times, including today's visit. That kind of presence makes a big difference in a state where the more people we can get to pay attention, the more votes we earn. Trump's message frightens people away, and the Harris message welcomes people to make a big tent of people who believe in freedom, democracy, and opportunity for the middle class. That's our recipe for success, but expect it to be a close election called potentially in the middle of the night on November 5th, or I guess AM in November 6th.
In 2020, Wisconsin was on the forefront of multiple, now debunked, election fraud misinformation campaigns. And take a look at what Trump said about early voting this year at a rally in Waukesha back in May.
I will secure our elections because you know what happened in 2012. Our goal will be one-day voting with paper ballots, proof of citizenship, and voter ID.
So, Ben, how are Democrats preparing to respond if the results are contested this year?
Well, Wisconsin has some of the safest, most secure elections in the country. We've been nationally rated as in the top 3 states in our election performance. We have 1,800 local clerks who run the elections in their own communities, know the voters in their area intimately. So we know that this election will be safe and secure. And if the Republicans and Donald Trump and the MAGA fringe try to overturn the election like they did in 2020, Attorney General Josh Kaul is here to fight back. The governor certifies the election in Wisconsin. We have a bipartisan Wisconsin Elections Commission. And the MAGA fringe does not anymore have a majority on our state Supreme Court. So attempts to mess with the election will fail. The key thing for anyone who wants Harrison Walz to win is to win, and to win by as much as possible. Because as we remember from 2000, it's the closest elections that are subject to the kind of shenanigans that Republicans might try to bring. So let's not just win this one. Let's win it by what we call in Wisconsin a landslide, meaning more than 1 percentage point.
Ben Wickler, again, the Democratic Party chair in Wisconsin, thank you very much for joining us, giving us some insights.